You might know The Legend of Zelda as an original video game series developed by Nintendo.
What if I told you Nintendo stole the idea from a 1980s fantasy film called Legend? And it starred Tom Cruise.
The same Tom Cruise from the Mission Impossible films and that wacky religion. Yeah, that one.
In this video, I'm going to show you everything that they took from Ridley Scott's classic movie, and you can decide for yourselves just how original The Legend of Zelda really is. Okay, before I DMCA Nintendo's ass right back to the 1980s, let's go back to 2007. This is what I like to call my loser period. Started around the early 2000s and continues up until present.
Back then, I loved Zelda, and fans just like me were making our own Zelda-inspired art, animations, and even fan films.
My favourite being this film called Hero of Time.
Naturally, it starred Logan Paul.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
And was directed by David Blaine.
Shazam.
Oh my god.
Along with some interesting casting choices.
Don't say it.
This is my water.
Don't say it.
My name is Dorian. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm a Goron.
It's the beat. I hear it in my sleep sometimes. Blare it in your Jeep so your
I thought this was the best Legend of Zelda film ever. But little did I know, there was already a Hollywood film of The Legend of Zelda. Kind of. My girlfriend at the time said,
You know, you should really watch Legend.
I was like, what? And then she vanished.
Goodbye, loser.
Because she didn't exist, and I made her up for this story. This was my loser period, remember?
Still, I went away and thought, I better check this Legend film out.
The Legend is a 1985 fantasy film directed by Ridley Scott starring Tom Cruise, Mia Sara, and Tim Curry. It underperformed at the box office, burned down the 007 stage at Pinewood, and underwhelmed critics.
The film was laid to rest and largely forgotten about.
I don't ever want to see it again! But Nintendo didn't. Nintendo didn't. Nintendo does what Nintendo didn't. Nintendo remembered the film.
I'm not accusing Nintendo of stealing ideas for their first Legend of Zelda game. I mean, look at it.
That belongs in a museum!
I believe Nintendo looked to Legend when building out their first fully 3D Zelda game. So let's break down what Nintendo took from Legend to create the Nintendo 64 classic Ocarina of Time. Okay, we're about to swan dive in spoilers for both Ocarina of Time and Legend. So if you haven't seen them already,
Sorry.
Okay, so the movie begins with a girl frolicking in a forest.
Well, she's actually, you guessed it, a princess. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time here because she's kind of generic. And let's face it, so's Princess Zelda.
shady bitch.
Now the princess is there because she's looking for a friend of hers who's a forest boy. And the forest boy is called Jack. And he's played by Tom Cruise.
What you gonna do, Derek? The Ocarina of Time.
Jack! You scared the life out of me!
Look at him. Bad teeth, a monobrow. Game recognizes game. Bring it, Tom. Oh, sorry. He's loved by the animals. He gets a suit of armor and a sword. And look at this swan dive. He's Link, but like, kind of like a simp version of Link. He's very simpy.
Let me dazzle you with my wisdom.
It's much more than wisdom that dazzles me, Lily.
He's like a bit of a fucking loser, actually.
I will marry whoever finds this ring.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Jack then introduces the princess to two magical unicorns that bring sunshine to the land, inadvertently leading the goblins to their whereabouts, who proceed to poison the stallion and cut off his horn.
The winter caves in and we get a dark and twisted version of the world. Sounds familiar.
The Zelda series is thematically filled with dual worlds, with Hyrule often having both a light and dark version. In Ocarina, when you go forward in time, Ganondorf's reign has caused many of the previously happy areas you visited as a kid to take on a dark new role. Just like in Legend.
They're the same picture.
Jack, now left alone in the forest, is found by a group of dwarves, whose costumes belong in Masters of the Universe, along with a fairy.
Hey, listen!
He's got a goddamn fairy! He's got a goddamn fairy!
I don't do fairies.
Oh my!
That's Zelda. That is Zelda on screen.
Una is the fairy in Legend and looks kind of like everyone's favourite helper, Navi.
And occasionally we see her transform into... Jesus Christ.
I'm Una. I'll do what you ask. If you'll kiss me, Jack.
It is Tom Cruise.
And her look kind of reminds me of the Great Fairy.
God, I remember when I used to go to the Great Fairy's Fountain in this game, I used to have to turn my TV down. Listen to it.
So, our merry men start their adventure to find the cause of this evil and save the princess.
And this whole plan to thrust the world into darkness has been contrived by an evil character ingeniously called Darkness. It does what it says on the tin. It does what it says on the tin. Tim Curry plays him. Fucking Jesus Christ. That's good. That's good.
I said, I thought better be sexual. Very sexy.
He is just so over the top evil. I love it.
A little boy.
Meanwhile, Princess Lily has been captured and taken to Darkness's lair, where he invites her to dinner.
So he starts cracking on, naturally.
It is enough that we are alone together.
I'm sorry, is that jelly? Can you imagine having your last supper and it's jelly being served?
Sire, do you want some ice cream with that?
My dream is of eternity with you.
Eating jelly. You will spend eternity eating jelly.
The dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity.
His chin looks like balls. Fixed it, let's get those swinging around for the next director's cut.
You disgust me.
That would be sick. That would be great.
Very sexy.
Darkness isn't the only half-man, half-beast. When Ganondorf transforms into Ganon at the end of Ocarina, he too takes features from classic representations of the devil, like large bull horns. I mean, look at this final fight. There's some striking similarities. But there's only one way Jack and Co can defeat Darkness, and that's with the Mirror Shield. Darkness's weakness is sunlight. Kinda makes sense. So Jack, inspired by the shiny shield he picked up earlier, formulates a plan to reflect the sunlight from the surface all the way down into the underground.
Okay, those of you who have played Ocarina of Time will see that this is literally a puzzle from the Spirit Temple.
You reflect light with your own mirror shield to progress through the dungeon and take on the final boss.
And with that, darkness is defeated and light is restored back to the forest.
Bye, see ya.
Bye. I give it 3 out of 10, no magic beans guy. There's a few different cuts of this film. One has the most epic soundtrack by Tangerine Dream. They did the music to Grand Theft Auto 5. And until Nintendo create a film, The Actual Legend of Zelda, it's gonna be the best you're gonna get. Well, second best.
Avenge my people.
Stay on the lookout for Crypto Zoo.
With that being said, The Legend of Zelda could have just been inspired by Shigeru Miyamoto's childhood walks in nature.
Me? I think it was old Tom.